Wow. I feel so blessed to know all of you. And I'm sure at some point or another I'll be learning some great things from you. I think I talk about stories all the time, and I talk about us telling our own stories. I'm always in spaces where I allow other people to tell their stories, but I don't often share my own. Wow. So I started... I think maybe I should share my own. I think it's relevant. So I started my career, not even a career, but my passion in the music industry at a very young age. My brother, who's standing right there, he and I used to save our pocket money when we went to college to get some studio lessons. Booked some studio sessions, and one day my dad asked us, how old were we? 16, 17? About 16, 17, and my dad asked us where we're spending our money. So we took him to the studio with us, and he said, don't give anybody your money, let me build you a studio. So he built us a studio in our cellar, and yeah, we spent a good few years in that cellar making some great music. Zane Lowe actually premiered the first video, which was, I can't remember what year it was, but maybe 2000, was it? God, wow, it was a long time ago. But so that, I guess it was very much about making music at home, but making music for us. My parents are from Pakistan. I don't know many Pakistani women in the spaces that I'm in. I'm often the only one. But language is also very important to me. So I speak Urdu fluently, and we're not allowed to speak English in our house, no matter how old you are. No, that's right. And I think it's so important for us to be teaching our children that. But fast forward, so in this, we talk about university and education. I'm not an academic. I've never been an academic. I sucked at my GCSEs. But one of the most important things for me is, do we encourage each other to pursue things that may be just a dream, that we may not understand? There's always somebody along the way who's able to guide us. And my brother introduced me to this woman when I was 16 at a radio broadcasting course after I finished school for 6 weeks, and this woman just became my second mother. She's actually on holiday, otherwise she would have been here today. And she really changed my life. This woman just kind of took me under her wing. She was a producer at Kiss FM at the time when it was a pirate radio station. And for her it was, I think in our communities we always have these women who want the best for us, and they don't necessarily have the right words to say that to us. But they show us, and the way they show us isn't necessarily right for us at that time. So she was that hard-loving kind of person. Anyway, she took me under her wing, and God, I went on to do sound engineering, did radio broadcasting for a year. I wanted to try everything. And then when I turned 19, I was offered a role here to manage MTV Base. And I knew nothing. I knew music. I knew nothing about programming a channel or creating a playlist or just being in this space. And I was one of the few young people who wasn't an intern or who was an apprentice. I learned everything on the job, and we don't create opportunities like that for young people anymore. Yeah. And I feel extremely blessed to have been in that space. And throughout this whole time, so it's coming up to 18 years now, so I was there doing MTV Base for about 5 years. And then MTV launched their 100th channel in Africa, which was MTV Base Africa, and that was my baby, and created that from scratch. Just the first time to get commercial African content on the platform was... the funny thing is, I'm talking about it now, and I've only just taken a step back and thought about it. This is a big deal, but I haven't been taught how to express it, but also to share it with people who care about it just as much as I do. And fast forward, for the past 10 years, I've been freelancing here, and I don't know what I want to do. I'm very much in this, we're all in the same space where we have so much talent, ideas, creativity, and knowledge, but applying it to roles that just aren't there doesn't work for us. So for me, it's really about how can we be in a place, build together like we are right now, and do stuff together. There's so much that we can do together, and I think it's such a beautiful space for us to be in, but it's whether we trust each other enough to be able to have those conversations. And one of the most important things I will say is, dreams are great, but if you're not writing them down and you're not speaking to the right people, it doesn't make any difference at all. So, yeah, Fast forward, here we are. Thank you. So I wrote down a load of questions and I sent them to everybody. And I don't do boring questions. So ladies, I hope you've prepared something for your questions with me. Hold on a second. I have to get my phone. And where should I start from? Because I think we started from here. Shall we come back this side? Okay, my first question is, what motivates you to get up in the morning? Honest answers only.
My children have... When you have children, you automatically become motivated because you have to, right? It's the crying, it's the hungriness, it's the dirty bums, it's everything. But I think essentially right now in my life, it's just the understanding that you get up in the morning because you want to live life for every moment that it's worth. I'm 45 years old. I've lost a lot of people. Young, old, people of my own age, people that are younger than me. And I think what motivates me the most is having gone through a journey of where I also felt like I was dipping and I was going through a moment of my moment of change also allowed me to understand my well-being, my mental health, where I am in life. And my children motivate me because they still need me in their lives and I need to be able to inspire them daily. But I think for myself, it's almost to appreciate because there's been a hell of a lot of saying of goodbyes in the last few years for me. And I think that allows me to get up every day and give thanks that I'm breathing, that I'm here, that, you know, whether I look in the mirror and I'm too big today, or I need to go and do a little run, or I need to go and just a day of fixing is every day. You're not going to wake up perfect. You're not going to wake up feeling perfect, looking perfect. But you've got to be able to say, do you know what? Whatever this day brings, it allows me to stay motivated in my own spirit.
What motivates me? It's a couple of things. For me, music's always been bigger than me. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'm not a singer. You know, I'm always been in the background, so I've been very comfortable with that. So it's almost like you can observe things in a different way. And I feel like from a very young age, because, you know, I used to play in church and all of that, I've seen how powerful music can be, and I feel like I'm nothing but a vessel. Do you know what I mean? And so what motivates me is the fact that we can really make change with this stuff. My brother and sister are really involved in a lot of social work, for example, like with youth and all of that. And when I get to go and talk to kind of young kids and just be like, listen, I can't come from the same background, but these are the things I'm doing, like that gives me so much fire. Because we live in an unfair world, and we live in a world where certain people with certain privileges get to a place faster, but that's all. They only get there faster, man. It don't mean I ain't gonna get there, you know? And that for me is so like, I don't know, it's so motivating. I just want to get there to show people that we can get there. We can all get there. We just need to keep focused and be genuine and, yeah, keep the faith, you know what I mean? So that's what motivates me.
I have a couple things that motivate me. Firstly, it's the overall image that I have of myself. So it's like waking up every morning knowing that, okay, today I'm going to be a step closer to her. So that's like the main thing. Then now I'm in a space where I have a lot of young women watching me and aspire like to be in my steps, even though the steps I'm in right now, I like the space I'm in right now isn't even where I want to be. Like I've got so much more steps ahead. So that makes me like grateful that there's people, you know, aspiring to even be where I am today. So that makes me wake up and think, you know, I have to go harder because I need to bring them to something that's going to make them get that feeling that I got when I went to my first video shoot. You know, I always want that for someone else. And then I would say the other reason is I lost my granddad at the beginning of this year. I'm not going to cry. But I think, like, he's like... Thank you. he's a big inspiration. And I wanted to make it while he was still here. Sorry, it's so fresh. Thank you. Thank you.
They'll be wiping off the eye makeup, yeah?
Sorry.
It's all right, darling.
It's so fresh, and I cared for my granddad for about 2-3 years, from when I was about 21 to about 24, and you know, like, I made the decision that I had to go and, you know, pursue my dreams, because it was either that or I had to look after him. I couldn't do both. So I always promised myself that I would just go hard as I could so that I could, like, I don't know, pay for private healthcare. He had Parkinson's, but unfortunately it was his time to go. So now, like, the main focus is just so that I can, like, you know, make sure that my future family is set, and my family now, because, you know, just things like him passing away, I just realized so many things, like health insurance and the importance, like how expensive funerals are, like, you know, because no one was prepared in my family. So even though I didn't want to lose him, he taught me so much, so much. So now it's like I wake up to prepare myself just for my future kids, so that they won't have to go through what me and my family had to go through. So yeah, that's basically what I wake up.
I think what motivates me every day is my purpose, and I think of what really pushes me in life is there's a piece of Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise, where it says, I am the hope and dream of the slave. So I think about those who've come before me and have sacrificed and given so much, their lives even, so that I can have the opportunity and the privilege that I have right now. Like, I'm a black girl living in London, moved from America to London. That's like major. And I live my dream. I'm a full-time musician. So I've been afforded this and blessed to have these many beautiful opportunities. And how dare I not get up and pursue even more of what is waiting for me. So that motivates me every morning.
I think everyone's hello. I think similarly to a few ladies that have gone before me, influences that have come into my life have been such things as my grandma. My grandma was my biggest friend, best friend, and really just helped me through a lot of different challenges. I sadly lost her about 6 years ago, and I think having come from Jamaica, having trained to be a nurse, I've got the letter, I think I shared on Instagram just to make a point one day when I'd come across it, and the letter had been written by the matron and had declined for her to work in the NHS because of the colour of her skin, and that she would frighten patients.
Frighten patients?
Yeah, and they wouldn't take to her kindly. So for me, the fact that she travelled, the fact that she trained, the fact that she'd come to England on the pretense that she was going to do better for her life and her well-being and everything that went into all of that, to then be met with that struggle, it really hit home for me, and it's something that I won't ever let go of. That letter, like, that needs to be like a permanent reminder to me that whatever the struggle is, she came through the other side and is like was one of the most loved women that I've ever seen, you know, like packed out church, like people standing out the door, like that's the sort of women that you're dealing with, like touched every single life. The flat that I live in is her old flat. Like, if I didn't have her, if she hadn't have left it and gifted it and like taught and fought and, you know, done all these sorts of different bits and pieces, I actually just don't know whether I'd even be in London doing all the things that I'm doing now. So that's like a permanent reminder. I wake up every day and I'm just so blessed that I'm living where I'm living, and in just a really nice place now as well. And then, God. It's really emotional up here, isn't it? 2016, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. God, I wasn't really expecting. And it was possibly one of the biggest challenges beyond losing my grandma. And mentally and physically and in body, your body not wanting to go. I can remember wanting to run for the bus and not being able to run for the bus because my legs wouldn't let me go. I remember being in crippling pain and night sweats and just a band around my stomach and crippling eye pain and migraines and blurred vision and all these sorts of things, and just really being so, I don't know whether anyone else has ever been sick and just felt so far out of their own body. I just really didn't recognize myself and felt like I went on a, it's good, stop the emotions.
Sorry.
All good. But for me, was one of the biggest challenges that I think I've ever encompassed, apart from losing my grandma, and really, really made me take a step back from where I was and what I was doing, and realised that I'd overworked myself to a point where actually I'd probably been ignoring my body and what it'd been trying to tell me for years and years. It's actually that I just exacerbated it, and it just came out at that time. And at that time, I was like office manager, PA, HR. I was the accountant for a period of time. I was doing all the other bits as well, and like relentlessly round the clock, as my boyfriend will tell you. But and like thanks to him, that I think I came through the other side. And it's not been an easy journey, but I'll be damned if I go through where I was before feeling like that. So I just remind myself every single day that I can walk. I decided that as soon as I could walk again after getting hospitalised, that I wasn't going to take it lying down anymore. I invested in a personal trainer because I felt like that was really important. My body had completely wasted away. I used to be really active, really like care about that. I used to play every sport under the sun: football, rugby, netball, basketball at one point, hockey, like all of them. So for me, it became really weird that my body just wasn't responding to the way that I wanted it to respond. So after getting hospitalised and after like 2 weeks of struggling to walk, I then decided that as soon as I could walk again and everything started to like settle down and I could work out a treatment course plan and everything like that, half of it was really going to be about me adapting to my self-care and like really paying attention to my mental health and my well-being, and really start to put parameters in place so that I didn't continue bad cycles that had kind of got me to that point. So yeah, for me personally, it's the reminder that I need to carry on so that I can't let it take over me again. And that's me.
I think I'm really motivated by the idea of discovering who I might be if no one ever told me what I should be. You know, so I'm really motivated by the idea of being able to discover something new, you know, at any point, you know, here, you could always, at any point, discover something that can completely change your worldview, your perspective on other people, on yourself, on your history, and potentially your future. And I just think that's really compelling. I think that's worth getting up for.
For me, I think there's two major things that really motivate me. I used to be motivated by, you know, that want to go back to the tiny little town that I'm from in a nice car with my own voice blaring out on the radio so everyone could see how well I'd done. Like, hey, none of you that believed in me, look at me now. And then I read two books which I'd highly recommend to everyone. One of them's called The Power of Now, and the other one is called Conversations with God. And they just really made me realize that I was living with my own ego, and my focus was so motivated towards material things and worrying about the opinions of people that, you know, don't matter. We spend so much time worrying about the opinions of other people, but everyone else's opinion of us is really none of our business. So that really made me look inside myself, and made me realize that I think my mum and my dad are really big motivations as to why I want to have the life that I have and to wake up and do more, because my mum not understanding her greatness and the beauty in her melanin and the way that she lived her whole life with such self-hatred when she didn't realize that what she had was such a gift, eventually led to her having dementia at 65. Sorry. Having dementia at 65 and not knowing who I am anymore, and sorry. And so I saw her waste something that I now see as so special, because I'm such a believer that our mind controls our body, and I honestly believe that her cells just responded to her self-hatred and made her mind just go to another place, because it's so young to have dementia. And so now she's at a point where she doesn't recognize anyone and she's fully incontinent, and it's just really sad to see somebody so beautiful just not have lived the life that they deserve to. And on the flip side of that, my dad is somebody that, was very financially successful and should have enjoyed his life. And unfortunately, he was just a very, very, very negative person, and was full of a lot of sort of outward hatred, and he now has terminal cancer. So I really believe that everything that we think about ourselves manifests within our bodies. So for me, I just want to enjoy the blessings that I know I've been given and just not waste it, and achieve what I know I can by just trying to reinvent the person that I am and just project love and positivity and enjoy the days that I've been blessed with.
Thank you, Dad.
Wonder, the word wonder, is what motivates me every day, every morning. I wonder what I can give to the world. I wonder how I can impact the world in a way that makes it better. I wonder how I can better myself, my state of mind. I wonder how I, as a person, can bring more love to the people that I engage with. I started setting myself challenges to talk to at least one stranger every day since 2015. And the reason why I set myself those challenges is because I almost became stranger to my own environment. When I was signed the record label, like, okay, don't travel on public transport because it's not good for you. Me, I thrive off human interaction. Like, I love having conversations with strangers, because in those moments, you learn something completely new, and you exchange stories, you exchange something new. And so I wonder what I can do differently to what I did yesterday. I wonder how I can today inspire a generation that is yet to come. Wonder.
Yeah. What motivates me in the morning? My alarm clock. No, I'm joking. I'm not a morning person at all. I hate waking up early, but I'm blessed that I work for a company that allows me to do kind of pretty much what I want. I'm working in an industry.
Farhana,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about your work. I'm asking you.
No. I'm getting there. No, but I'm just saying that the reason why I'm saying about my company is because I'm doing something that I enjoy, and I've never chased money. Like, that is something that I've always known, that I spend most of my life at work, so I don't want to do something that makes me miserable just because I get paid more. And the main reason is, so I was born and raised in Kenya. We moved here when I was 12. My family's never been, like, well off. They're always struggling. And for me, I'm motivated because I'm doing a job that I love. I could be paid double if I was doing it in a different industry. But because it's something that I love, like, and I know I'll be doing okay, better than what my family's been doing. Like, you know, normally your dad or whatever is the kind of the leader of the house and he takes care of everything. But my dad's all right, but he's never really been that. It's like always me having to kind of sort things out, things like that. So I've always been quite independent. So yeah, that's what motivates me.
Thank
you. Two things. One would be not. I wouldn't say my child. It's not him specifically. I always look at him and think, you know, the ceiling of my success will be the floor of his anyway. So he just assumes that being a DJ and doing what you want and waking up is normal, which is great. That's a tick off the list anyway. But my main motivation really was for that single mum that just thinks she can't do shit. Like that girl that I was once before, you know, sat at, oh my God, why am I crying? Oh my God. It's meant to be DJ, do you know what I mean? I'm crying now. You know, that, you know, was at uni doing what everyone thought she should do. You know, and I was with my boyfriend for ages. He still decided to get up and leave. That woman or man, because it happens to men as well, that is raising a child, looking at his child thinking, I haven't even finished with myself yet. How the hell am I going to wing this to the point where you believe it and I believe it? So I really hope that, you know, and that's why and this is nothing on anyone else, but I never hide my age and I never hide the fact that 5 years ago I wasn't doing this, because I genuinely want someone who might be working in Marks and Spencer's or somewhere that they don't, like, you know, Uber driving, they don't really want to do it and think, oh, fuck it, when Arja's 30, whatever, and she did it. That's my main thing. Always get up and think, someone somewhere might see something you do and think, I remember her from school, and you know I wasn't doing this, do you know what I mean? You know that I was doing marketing and advertising. I was going to go and do something that would make my mum and dad really happy, but, I mean, it is now, but it didn't at the time. And the second thing is something that stuck in my head, and I can't remember what book it was that I read, but I always wake up with you know, another day to be a better me. And that ranges between Monday and Sunday. It's a completely different person on Monday, and then Tuesday it might be, you know, something I look back, one of the girls said that you look at what you did today, I think it was you, Misha, where you think, oh, I could have done this better, or I could have done that better. So once my eyes are open, I'm relieved, like, okay, another day to be a better me, basically. And then I'll go ahead in my day, deciding what I could have done better, and then fingers crossed it works. So, yeah.
Wow. That was my first question. I wasn't ready for this. What?
We need more tissues.
My motivation.
I'm just like, you know.
My nieces. My niece is sitting right there. I have 5 nieces and 2 nephews, and they're my babies. Everything I do is... Okay, question number 2.